Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast. Experience support for confident business makers. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Scott Hollrah. Scott is the founder and CEO of Venn Technology. He has more than 17 years experience in the business technology industry, and more specifically in CRM and accounting software solutions. Scott founded Venn in 2015 to help small and medium-sized businesses get their time and sanity back by building integrations between cloud accounting and CRM solutions to just about anything with an API. Venn's top priority is build solutions that free people to focus on what they're best at. Welcome back, I should say, to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Scott Hollrah.
Thanks so much for having me again. It's been a few years.
Well, first off, Scott, why do you do what you do?
I think the answer to that has evolved a little bit over the years. And I think about the work that we do, and I believe that it fundamentally changes an organization. And not only does it fundamentally change the organization, but it changes the lives of the people who work there. So something that we talk about internally, something we talk about as we interview and hire and onboard new people for our company is we want to get people to their kids' soccer game. We want to get people to their pickleball match over the weekend. We want to get people back to whatever it is that they just love doing that they can't get to because they're spending, nights and weekends manipulating spreadsheets and praying and hoping that data imports the right way when it goes into the target system. We want to automate those things so that they can get back to what they're best at.
And talk to me a little bit about the need to interweave culture and brand. Before we started recording, you said that's been a passion of yours inside your organization to weave those two together. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So several years back, I got to give a talk at a conference, and afterward, I was talking about getting the company started and just kind of my mentality toward it. And somebody came to me afterward and said, Scott, what you just described reminds me of the founder of our company. He said they used to say they wanted to build the kind of company they wanted to work for. And as soon as I heard those words, I just stole that phrase. And I've used it shamelessly. Thank you to the folks at Cargus, Chip Cargus, founder of that. I'm using your words. And so that's what I think about all the time is what kind of company do I want to work for? And that gets represented in the culture. And when I think about culture and brand in a lot of ways is really just the outward expression of your company's culture. Whereas the culture is, what are things like inside your four walls or virtual walls, whatever may be the case these days. And so, yeah, our brand is an outward expression of our culture. And for us, we try not to take ourselves too seriously. We work hard, we put out good work, but we have a lot of fun doing it. We have an incredibly casual, laid-back culture. If it was sunny and 70 degrees, I'd be in shorts and flip-flops in the office today. And, I tell people all the time, we work in the world of accounting software. Like, it doesn't get much nerdier than that. And so, we like to really try to inject life and fun into it. We have a life-size Yeti that comes to conferences with us, and he's our mascot. His name is Bjorn, and it definitely stands out. It's definitely something that's a little bit different. And again, it's just an expression of who we are. It's this relaxed, fun kind of a group of people that just happen to build automations and integrations.
And is that something that you consciously work on yourself, or is it just something that really emerges out of the relationships that you have with the people that you've hired in the organization?
So, when you hire people, you want to hire people who have shared values. And so I would say it's a both and. When I started the company, and it was just me, I was a one-person shop working out of my home office, and one became two, and two became five, and five became 10. And, today we're right around 30 people and looking to hire. And with each person, we're looking at them saying, is this a person who matches our core values? We have 6 core values in our company, and that's part of the lens that we evaluate people through. And through that, we screen out a lot of people that aren't a fit. one of the other things that we have worked hard to do, something else I stole, best ideas are other people's. So I was talking to an advisor a couple years back who said that one of their goals in their hiring process was that the candidate was 100% sold on the company before their first interview. And again, I was like, oh, yep, that's who we want to be. And so we've put a lot of effort into creating content around who we are as a company for recruiting purposes. And the week before last, I think I interviewed 5 or 6 people. At least 4 were almost the first words out of their mouth when we started the interview was, I want to work here. And so that comes about because of our culture, because of our brand, because of what we put out there to showcase who we are.
It's interesting you bring that up, because I think one of the mistakes I think small business owners make is when they go to hire, they interview until they find one person who satisfies the job description, let's say. And I think that's a mistake. I did not like making a hiring decision unless I had 3 people I felt comfortable with, because when I just had one, it smelt of desperation.
I get that, and we have been close to falling into that trap in the past where, oh my gosh, we need to fill this spot so badly. And we've done a good job at avoiding it. I will say, I don't know that we've taken it to the extent that it's like, if we don't have X number of people that we would hire, we won't hire. We've learned to be patient, and, we have had a couple people that weren't the right fit, and they've found themselves, working other places now, and that's totally fine. But at the same time, sometimes you get that person and you have that instant connection and you click, and when you know. And in fact, we made an offer to somebody last week who 60 seconds into the conversation, I could just tell he was one of us. And so he'll be joining us in a few weeks, and are so thrilled to have him.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, the secret to preserving the culture is making sure that you're bringing people in like that. Well, Scott, as you know, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours, and why are they a hero?
So same answers I gave years ago when I came on the first time. My dad, who Kent Hollrah, has always been my hero. From a very, very young age, he taught me what it was to work hard. He taught me what honesty and integrity were. As a kid, we talked about the golden rule in our house all the time. You treat other people the way you want to be treated. And when I think about what I said earlier about I want to build the kind of company I want to work for, that's really the ethos of that statement. And that's something that I learned as a kid, having the good fortune to grow up with the father that I did.
And lastly, Scott, how can somebody contact you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, or check out Venn Technology at venntechnology.com. That's V as in Victor, ENN technology, and it's technology singular. A lot of people try to say technologies. venntechnology.com.
All right. Well, we'll put a link to your LinkedIn profile in the show notes. Scott Hollrah, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thanks, Ed.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.